me tell you about him. Jesus is his name, and I'm all about him. I live to bring him praise. He is the way and the truth and the life. God is 3 in 1, reigning undefeated. Our God has overcome. Jesus.
What's going on, God Gold? Hope y'all are having an awesome day. Hope you're excited about another video where I've got some really cool and awesome gold for you. I've been saying awesome a lot. I usually do that when I get jacked up. And the cause of my saying awesome and getting jacked up is this right here. And it's been kind of a struggle this week in some areas. And it's been kind of crazy how things have worked out. And I've been in some areas of brokenness and weakness and just kind of getting myself in the way. And what I've learned through that coming into today and reading this passage that I'm going to share with you shortly, like, it just makes the gold even golder. Like, our brokenness and the pain and suffering we go through, that's why in the Bible you see so many times people are talking about rejoicing in trials. I know James says it and other people say it too, rejoicing in your trials and your suffering, because it teaches you, it molds you, it grows you closer to Christ. It humbles you to depend on Him and Him alone. And that's when you get to see how great Jesus is. So I hope this is a faith builder for you. It adds some value to your lives and just moves you closer to the Lord in your daily walk with Him. So here we go. Matthew 9:18 through 26. I'm going to read through it real quick and we'll talk about it, break it down, and that'll be it. So this is a girl restored to life and a woman healed. While he was saying these things to them, behold, a ruler came in and knelt before him, saying, My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her, and she will live. And Jesus rose and followed him with his disciples. And behold, a woman who had suffered from a discharge of blood for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his garment. For she said to herself, If I only touch his garment, I will be made well. Jesus turned, and seeing her, he said, Take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. And instantly the woman was made well. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house and saw the flute players and the crowd making a commotion, he said, Go away, for the girl is not dead, but sleeping. And they laughed at him. But when the crowd had been put outside, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose, and the report of this went through all the district. So there's a lot could be broken down in this, but we'll start at the beginning. Like, Jesus is just on his earthly ministry doing what he does, and this master or ruler came in and knelt before him, which kneeling before someone is a sign of surrender. So it just shows the humility of this guy to come to Jesus and do that. And then he literally lays his problem, his situation, his struggle at his feet completely. And it says, My daughter has just died. And like, what a struggle that is, like death. Who can do anything about that? And like, we see little things in our lives that we don't think Jesus is big enough to handle. But this guy brings death. Like, his daughter just died. But he still chooses to seek out Jesus, to go out of his way to find Jesus and say, My daughter has just died. And lay that problem before him. But then he shows, you see it in all kind of stories of Jesus doing miracles and healing people. And so many times, which confuses me so much, you'll hear Jesus say, You've been healed because of your faith. And it always like hits me, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, I need to get faith like that. I need to get faith like that so I can be healed from the situations and problems that I face myself and the brokenness and weakness that I have. But it's not about our faith or anything about us. It's where and who our faith is in, and that's Jesus. And that's why you see this like lived out before Jesus by people's actions and the way they come and seek him out. That's a sign of their faith in who he is and what he's capable of. And this guy would never come to Jesus and then literally say, come and lay your hand on her and she will live. That's faith right there. My daughter's dead, but Jesus, if you touch her, if you come and you touch her, she'll live. No worries about it. That's some faith right there. And then we see Jesus followed him and his disciples with his disciples. And then behold, a woman who had suffered from a discharge of blood for 12 years came up behind him and touched the fringe of his garment. This woman suffered for 12 years. She's had the same problem going on for 12 years. And I know there's a lot of stuff in our lives where we get to the point where we're like, we're never going to change. We are who we are. I've been this person for 10, 20, 30 years. I can't get rid of this addiction. I can't get rid of who I am. It's just a piece of me. That's who I am. And Jesus says right here, or it says in the word, that this lady has suffered from a discharge of blood for 12 years. Do you think she's pretty hopeless by now? You think she wants to give up? I know there's a lot of stuff in my life that I struggle with that I've wanted to give up time and time again. Because I keep looking at my past and all the mistakes I've made and the failures I've had. And I just see in the here and now that I can't do it. And I make up all these excuses why I can't do it because I couldn't do it yesterday. And I'm sure this lady's like, I wasn't healed by all the other things I tried. I haven't been healed for 12 years. What's going to heal me now? Why should I even try? I'm going to have this the rest of my life. But see, with Jesus, that's just not true. And we see that she touched the fringe of his garment, which is like the outermost edge of his garment. So like the smallest piece of Jesus she could touch. She just touched that. And she said, even if I just touch that little piece, I know that Jesus will make me well. That's faith. And Jesus says, and instantly the woman was made well. And instantly the woman was made well. And right before that, Jesus says, he turned to her and seeing her, he said, take heart, daughter, your faith has made you well. She believed in who Jesus was and what Jesus is capable of, that if she touched the little bitty piece of his robe, that she would be made well. It's not faith in who we are. It's not faith in who we were yesterday and the mistakes that we made. It's not living in our past. It's not living in our weakness. It's living in who Jesus is and what he's capable of in our lives. And that's faith. That changes everything. That's focusing in on the here and now and seeing that our situation is not defined by who we were yesterday or the mistakes that we made, because we aren't even in the equation. Our faith is in Jesus, who is higher and above all the things that we've ever done or struggled with. And God, just gets me fired up. And we haven't even got to the good part yet. And instantly, or he's still on the way to this girl's house where the girl was dead. And when Jesus came to the ruler's house, he saw the flute players in the crowd making a commotion. He said, go away, for the girl is not dead but sleeping. So you got this band, flute players, crowd making this big commotion. It was almost like a funeral going on because they thought the girl was dead. I mean, in their eyes, in reality, the girl was dead. But then Jesus says, he sees all the commotion and all the stuff going on around it. And he says, go away, for the girl is not dead but sleeping. And that's so powerful. Because in our eyes, we see dead, and Jesus says, no. When I'm here, when I'm in this, when my presence is in this situation, in this area, in this weakness or addiction that you have, or whatever it is in your life, when Jesus is there, you don't see death. Jesus changes the outlook of it all. It says the girl's only sleeping. How much power is in that? And he says, move away all this commotion. Go away. All this crowd, this noise. And it's just like Jesus tells us so many times in our lives to get all this noise that we keep playing through our heads, the lies we keep listening to, the things that we pull up of ourselves and listen to and tell ourselves, like excuses and all this noise, and commotion that goes on inside of us that tells us why we can't do something, while this situation is dead, and all these different things. Jesus says, first, I need you to go away. I need all this commotion and all this noise to go away. And I need you to focus on who I am and what I can do. Because then Jesus goes in the house. Or after he said, go away, the girl's not dead but sleeping, people laughed at him. And that's humanity right there. Like Jesus, we see so much of what Jesus can do, and it's out of our realm of understanding. And that's humbling enough right there. Like, there's people laughing at what Jesus said because in our human eyes, seeing it through what we see in front of us, that makes no sense. But this is what Jesus and faith in who he is and what he's capable of, and bringing Jesus into a situation, seeking out Jesus for help in our troubles and our weaknesses, this is what Jesus does. But when the crowd had been put outside, got away of all that noise, got all that out of there, he went in and took her by the hand, and the girl arose. And the report of this went through all of that district. Jesus went inside, grabbed the girl by the hand, and she arose. And it's crazy. It's crazy. The same Jesus that did that, the same Jesus that we read about in our Bibles every day, is the same Jesus that saved our lives. The same Jesus that has shown us time and time again his love despite our weaknesses and our struggles, and his presence is always continually there despite anything we do, and how faithful he is. And now we see this power of Jesus that just raises our perspective so much that when we see a situation that's dead, when we see that we've had this struggle going on for quite a bit of time now, like the woman had it going on for 12 years, the situation looks hopeless, right? There ain't nothing gonna change. I am who I am. But hey, when Jesus gets involved, when we get all that noise and all that commotion that goes through our own minds, that we've got surrounding us in our lives, when we get that out of the way and we be still before Jesus and seek after Jesus, kneeling before him in surrender, that's when Jesus allows us to see just how powerful he is. How he is a chain-breaking, I can't even find words for how powerful he is. He's just amazing. There's no words for how awesome and mighty Jesus is. And I don't want to just say this and you sit there like, yeah, that's great. But how does that help me in my life? Meditate on this passage. Think about some of the things that have been said in this message and let that sink into your heart. Take an honest look at areas of your life where you've had your faith in yourself. You've listened to the lies that go through your head. You've listened to your feelings and you operate out of your feelings. And your actions come from you instead of your belief in who Jesus is. Think about those things. Notice some areas where maybe you do struggle with those things. Some of you may be many, some may be few, it just varies. But we all have some kind of struggle with faith. We're human. That's part of it. But the good thing is that God has given us his word. And he teaches us through his word just how good he is, how powerful he is, and how he's right there for us. So let's seek him out. Let's trust in who he is. Let's trust in who Jesus is. That he's more than enough. that whatever situation we have in our life that we see as dead or hopeless, let's remove all the noise, be still before Jesus, and seek after him, so we can see just how good and how powerful he is, and how dead in our eyes, Jesus says, no, she's just sleeping. You're good, brother. I got you. You are healed. It's pretty awesome stuff. Hope y'all have a great day. Love you.
Let me tell you about him. Jesus is his name, and I'm all about him. I live to bring him praise. He is the way and the truth and the life. God is 3 in 1, reigning undefeated. Our God has overcome. Jesus.